Hey guys, it's Penelope in London. We're going to talk about Saturn square Uranus and what's going on. We've got it. This is going on February 14th, 2021. I'm going to look at on solar fire to see when that happened exactly, actually. We're today at the 17th of February. We've got 14th of June and then also 24th of December. So this Saturn square Uranus is taking place all year. It's one of our main transits as we can see what's going on. And then it's generally occurs every 14 years because Saturn, if you look at Saturn, I'll show you solar fire in a moment, but if we look at Saturn here, Saturn's cycle is 28, 29 years. And as a result of that, the meeting of Saturn with Uranus is a generally 14-year process in the square. So we'll double check that on solar fire as well, because then we'd have the Saturn opposition to Uranus, which is a different sort of meaning, but we're looking at the square today. It can be a frustrating time for all of us and a lot of tension rising and unexpected changes. And we're already seeing this play out in society. You know, nobody knows whether they're coming or going with lockdowns and vaccines and other things that are going on. And this can, you know, sort of throw a spanner in the works with our own goals and ideas that we want for ourselves. So the best thing we can do when we're looking at astrology is take the collective chart. And then on the outside of my chart, you can see what's going on here. So if I look, I've got Uranus, which is just in my 6th house here. And then I've got my Saturn, which is in my 2nd house. It's just, you know, this is my needs and values and my morals and such like. And then over here, inner, and then over here we have, this is my work. And if we look that, you know, it's just literally entered my 6th house here. So it will go forward and then it will retrograde towards the end of the year. So this is why we're going to have this square. Uranus is at the moment, if we actually expand this chart so you can see, Uranus at the moment we can see is at 7 degrees of Taurus. And then we've got Saturn here, which is at 7 degrees as well. So this is the current square that we've got. It's 90 degrees apart. So you can see actually, so you can see there. You can see this, and my 6th house starts at 5 degrees just there. And then we've got here, we can see that we've got 5, 6, 7, we can see Saturn there, and that will create the square, and it will happen for us in a particular area of our chart. And let's come out of this. And then what we've got, if we go over to, also that Saturn will, the Uranus will be doing other things in my chart. So this is what we want to be looking for on our own charts, like that Saturn will be doing, you know, meeting other planets in my own personal chart. So this is why we need to look at our own transits. Now, if I go over to solar fire here, the emanated page, and you can see this is the 17th of December, 17th, Mercury is retrograde, it's the 17th of February. And what we have is that we can see, I've got a traditional chart here. So we've got Aries as the beginning, 0 degrees. And then we can see that we've got Saturn, 7 degrees and 8. And then we've got here, we've got 7 degrees and 12. So if we go a few hours ahead and watch this meet, we want Saturn to meet exactly 7, 12. And then we will have our exact conjunction there. Not conjunction again, square 7, there you go, 7:13, and that's 7:10. So hours ahead, 7:12, 7:13. There you go. So this is the 17th of February and it's exact. I did see on a website actually that it said it was the 14th, but we can see here that 7:13 and 7:13 is our square, and that's 17th of February. So it's best during this time that we don't, you know, try and force changes, and that we begin to adapt to changing conditions and wait and see what areas of life that are causing problems for us and deal with them as they come up. Because with Uranus, you know, there can be some shocks and there can be some genius moments as well. So we don't know exactly how that's going to play out. But if we look at the idea of, if we look at Aquarius and we look at Uranus and the Aquarius keywords, we've got liberation from conditioning, it's individuation, it is rebellion, it's our hopes and ideals, it's our long-term memory. It can be trauma and splitting, it's where we're unique, it can be shocking, it can be hyperactivity because it's running through our nervous system as well. It's to do with Prometheus in astrology, mythology rather, astrology, mythology. And then it's where we can be telepathic, objective awareness, secret societies and group hysteria. We're seeing some of that go on, and like-minded groups forming as well as people split off with the individuation. It's our individuality. And then if we look at the idea that Uranus is in Taurus, and we look at the keywords for that, it's where we're looking for self-sufficiency, security, where we can feel isolated and withdrawal. It can be procreation, fertility. It's our survival. It's self as a resource, our inner resources, values. It's to do with beauty as well, and self-esteem, where we can hoard. Some people may be doing that at the moment with the, worried about the weather and all of the different things that are going on. It's can be poverty. It's where we can feel we want to give up. It's where we can be overcautious, materialistic, possessions. It's a landowner, and feeling shut down as well. So when we begin to bring in the archetypes and look at these, what's going on, that's Uranus in Taurus. And this is also to do with land and agriculture as well, and volcanic eruptions and the earth, and because Taurus is also to do with earth and also our inner needs, because Taurus is ruled by is also to do with Venus, which is to do with our inner needs. And from one perspective of looking at that, we've also got that if we look at Saturn up here, that's ruled by Capricorn, and also that Capricorn is in Aquarius. So we could take in that Aquarian stuff that we just spoke about with Uranian, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and we begin to integrate the whole chart. But Capricorn, Saturn, we had Capricorn, Saturn was in the, Capricorn until the 21st of December. So with them, the Saturn is ruled by, it's the ruler of Capricorn, and we've got the social position. It's to do with authority, the judge, maturity. It's our repression, oppression. It's our grief. We can feel punished, and it's about discipline, man-made law. And it can be guilt and futility. It's boundaries as well, very strong in structure and form, and isolation and paralysis and fear. And it's to do with politics and responsibility. There can be depression with this, and a fall from grace. So if I read now, which would be interesting, I've got Robert Hand, a book by Robert Hand called Planets in Transit. So I'm going to read now what Saturn square Uranus means, because this is going on for the whole year. So, and it will be moving through our own charts as well. So this can be an extremely upsetting and tense period, particularly if we have allowed our lives to crystallize into rigid patterns that cannot be changed easily. This is a time of great tension, because our desire to change and our desire for new experiences seems to be thwarted by circumstances or other people. So that would be, in this case, the rules and the government, as we got that Saturn, which is applying to Uranus. And then also, if we've been putting up with unpleasant conditions in any area of our lives, this will become much more difficult for us to withstand now. So this could cause a lot of, wanting to break free of limitations, which is Uranus. And then about our inner needs, the tensions may become so great that we may take radical action that we would not have anticipated a short while ago. So we need to look at that as a collective as well, like groups may be doing that. Every one of us needs structure and change, but most of us structure our lives in a way that is very difficult to change. So if we think about that, we're not that flexible, and we need that flexibility with that Uranian energy here. Although we may need change, we are afraid of it also. There can be a fear of change. We can be stuck, and we've very much been forced into changes, quite heavily with this, with having COVID come into our lives and in the collective. It's where we can be sufficiently afraid and will endure the greatest tensions and frustrations, just to keep from upsetting the apple cart. So people may just stay stuck and not want to make changes because of that also. During this transit, we may face the challenge of creative change without destructive revolution. I'll read that again. During this transit, we could face the challenge of creative change without destructive revolution. If we try to endure the pressure of a situation, crying for changes in the face of profound obstacles, we could be subject to extreme tensions, which is not good for our health and especially our nerves, because again, Uranian energy is, runs through our nervous system. It's very electrical. Some of us, where we're utterly unconscious, where there's a lot of unconsciousness, why we've been unconscious, and we know that we've needed to change our lives, but we've been unconscious, that's going to begin to bubble up. And this will hit us, and changes can start to happen suddenly because we think, well, it's time for me to change now and catch up, or do some sort of courses, or maybe in the sense that our inner needs are going to change. So we may need to change our form of work, as an example. And we might look at how can we do different work that suits us, where we don't have to be going out and interacting with people, as an example. We want to slow down with this because it can also bring unconscious, that unconscious tension can make us, not be a bit haphazard and not careful. Our work situation may become oppressive, and with this, we may be given responsibilities that are too much for us to handle, particularly if we've got to go back into society and start working again, and all of the social distancing. It could be very difficult for us to handle that. So I would say that we don't really know how this is going to work in the coming year. And also where we could be afraid, we might want to quit such things or break free, when we might get fired, as an example. I don't want you to be afraid of that, but I think a lot of people have already experienced having to have government funding and being looked after at this time. Authority figures in general at this time could seem oppressive, and it could, it could be a feeling of negative energy. Like all squares by transit, this one is an opportunity to clear out the elements of our lives that are not working. So what we want to take the positive aspect out of this and see it as that this Saturn-Uranus connection, exact conjunction on the 17th, is going to be helping us to clear out elements of our lives that are no longer working. Because clearly, if we look back lockdowns and pre-COVID, if we go back to January 2020 rather, January 2020, when the Saturn-Uranus conjunct, Saturn, Pluto, and that conjunction, that great conjunction happened, our lives weren't as sweet and easy as we may look back and be remembering and thinking, wow, I wish we were going back to them. But really, that was just not working for any of us either, that we were running around doing jobs we don't like, the height of narcissism in society, in government, and generally in media, and even in, our private lives. So we're breaking all of that down now, and we're looking at our inner needs. We're not so much relying on, other people at this time. Any changes that we fail to make during this transit will cause greater trouble as it goes through. So we want to really link in with what do we want to change in our lives, so that we can keep going forward and shake off what needs to be shaked off, break free of the limitations. And I'm going to go forward actually, because things are going to change. We are evolving. If I go weeks ahead, and I'm going to show you, so watch Saturn here, and Saturn is going to go ahead. So this is 17th of February, and we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 8 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 12 weeks. Okay, this is May the 12th. It's 13 degrees, and it's still, it's 2 degrees off Uranus. Uranus takes 84 years to move around the chart, and Saturn takes 28, 29 years. So if we go another 4 weeks ahead, 1, 2, 3, 4, it goes retrograde. You see that this is June the 2nd. It's going to go retrograde in the end of May. Then it will go all the way back. This is another square. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. And that's another square. And then it's going to go back, because it goes back for months. And it's going to go back all the way to, let's see here. It's going to go back to 6 degrees, okay? And then it's going to go forward again to what this is what we're going to see. This is the 13th of October. Then we're going to go forward. And we're going to see if I keep going forward, we want it to hit, it's going to hit 10, because then also we've got Uranus goes retrograde. So we go back a week and we got 10 and 11, so we can see they're meeting again. So this, you know, it's sort of separating and then it's applying and then it's separating, applying and separating, which gives it different energy. And this is the 22nd of December 2021. And let's go forward, take that Saturn out of the equation, then it goes forward, it'll be 20 degrees and it will be off Uranus, and this is March 2022. I hope that's useful. If you've got any comments on this or what you're experiencing, please subscribe to my channel. Any comments, please leave below. Thanks for watching.